itself is really good news. So far so good going into the holiday weekend. Coming out of the weekend on Sunday night, Monday, that is where we may begin to see more of the problems coming our direction where it comes to severe weather purposes out there. That is where we get into some problems toward about that period of time for that area of the weekend. Should be otherwise beautiful conditions, otherwise very much on the warm side out there into the next day or two. And temperatures could be pushing 90 by the time we work our way into around Sunday, so that is going to be something to look out for. It's going to be decently warm. Would take along some extra water if you're going to be walking around out there. Again, just to be on the safe side. Let me just hang on a second here and double check. Okay, we are getting audio. It's a little low, but that's not too bad. At least I don't sound like I'm talking out of a tin can, which did happen a few weeks ago. So that should do it. Looks like we're on board, so no problem at all for right now. This is Weather Overtime. Welcome to the show. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek on a Friday night, the second to last Friday night of the month of May. We'll be getting into some again, possible problems out there for storms into the weekend. We'll take a look at the tropics, which again, also not too much going on, thankfully, considering what the conditions are and how we could really get things going very quickly, depending on the temperature of the ocean waters out across the area. We'll take a look at our picture of the day. We'll take a look at where the rainfall is and where we think it's going to be heading, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you got questions, the chat function is open on YouTube and also on Twitch. So if you have some questions about the weather in this area or otherwise, let me know. Just drop it into the comment section and we'll tackle those as we go through. So where are we? This is coming to you from Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is the News 12 viewing area. Southeast Tennessee, northeastern Alabama, back into north central, northwestern areas of Georgia, and extreme western areas of North Carolina, where we did have a tornado warning about this time last night, so we were on a little bit later with the Weather Overtime segment. We'll see again a few showers just before 10 o'clock. We've got a little bit of activity. You can see moving upslope into the Appalachians, Knoxville all the way down to about roughly Gainesville, just outside the News 12 viewing area. A few sprinkles taking place there. Beyond that, we don't have much of anything going on at this time, so that's definitely some good news. We have no advisories at this point whatsoever. Right before 10 o'clock on Friday, we're watching for any signs of any severe weather. And as we take a look back to the west, we do have numerous severe thunderstorm watches in the yellow boxes that you see there. Some tornado warnings, one just right outside of Oxford, Mississippi. Hopefully everybody's good back in Lafayette County, Mississippi there, and a couple just on either side of the Metroplex. But that's all we've been seeing for tonight. Now, more activity. This is not going to be a bother for us for the most part. These storms around Oxford are falling apart and mainly going southeast, so they'll be not in any possibility of affecting us. But weather like this will be a potential into the course of the rest of the weekend out there, and we'll take a closer look at that in just a little while. It's very mild. Temperatures back in the 70s. Ellijay, Georgia, you're back into the mid to upper 60s, so decently comfortable, very close to where we should be at this time of the year. And again, temperatures still in the lower 80s, well down to our southwest. So comfortable, not seeing any major problems out across the area. Looking downtown at nightfall, I believe it's called, from the Bailey's Heating and Air camera, looking at, I believe that's Miller Park. I'm still learning the areas around and the sites across Chattanooga. So looking down toward, I think, MLK Junior Boulevard and over toward the Federal Building and up toward the intersection. A lot of folks out and about. It is a beautiful Friday night, so not too shabby to get out, enjoy some music and some food and some fun times. The baseball game downtown, hopefully they managed to get that in. We'll take a look and see if they got that taken care of here in just a little bit, see if there's any final score taking place. From areas around 153 and 64, 153 highway running from right to left, 64 coming in across that particular area, and the intersection there So far, so good. Again, traffic moving along pretty well. Kind of hazy. The pollutants in the atmosphere are kind of starting to stack up. Even those storms yesterday didn't really do too good of a job of clearing things out for us. News 12 studio camera from Patriot Concrete. You can see the lights on top of Signal Mountain way off in the distance, but also not seeing a lot of clear skies at this point, and that haze continues over portions of the area right around Chattanooga Theater Center. The ballpark lit up pretty nicely. Hope there's no problems downtown. A lot of police officers down at Coolidge Park, so hopefully they're just keeping an eye on things and there's nothing serious going on. Hope all of our law enforcement personnel, emergency personnel, have a quiet Memorial Day. Hopefully not much of anything goes on there. Chattanooga Zoo camera looking back toward Erlinger Hospital and not seeing too much of anything going on there. One more stopover. I want to take a look at the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera, and we had some pretty decent backups here earlier, but that is not the case right now, so no problems being seen at 2475 in south central Chattanooga. Temperatures at the airport, we're back at 77. The airport right over the horizon. You might even see a plane or two coming in for a landing or taking off, but it's very much on the muggy side and will continue to be that way right on in through portions of the weekend. So warm, humid, and the possibility of thunderstorms thrown in there as well. Let's go ahead and get down to business and see what's going on. Again, the big picture is showing a decent amount of just moisture-rich air sitting over portions of the area, and that is going to continue for the rest of the weekend. So if you're looking for anything in the way of very sharp, cool conditions, that has pretty much passed us by. So looking at little, if anything, taking place anytime soon. High pressure off the East Coast helping to kind of sort of move some more moisture on shore. And our next storm systems on the way. We've got several of them moving in this direction. So the ones that we're watching moving into this very moisture-rich air, that's going to trigger the thunderstorms as we go into the weekend. We want to warn you again at this time to keep checking the forecast, because into the next several days, the severe levels will fluctuate. The possibility of getting, some either more, less, or the same when it comes to severe weather. You really need to check in with the forecast all the way through the weekend, especially as this system comes through. So tomorrow morning, I would not be surprised to see some showers and rumbles of thunder taking place. Again, potential of some activity into the early portions of Saturday afternoon, but I think Saturday will see less activity than Sunday will. And then I think Sunday will probably see more activity in the latter part of the day towards Sunday night, Monday, Memorial Day, Monday morning. So again, scattered showers and thunderstorms from Saturday night into Sunday morning. Not even seeing that much. We will see the potential of some showers and thunderstorms popping up for Sunday afternoon. It's what goes on after nightfall that really is a little bit more concerning. Most of the activity by about midnight Monday should be happening well north of us, but that will be heading our direction, as will that front. So right about daybreak, that is where what could be left of those thunderstorms, if they have enough juice to make their way across that area of the country and make their way into around this area. That is where we could see, again, the potential for problems with severe weather. That is where we're really going to have to pay attention to what is coming our direction. So Sunday night, Monday morning, I think that's going to be the worst of it. As that front continues to progress, less of a chance of severe weather. There is no chance of severe weather on the forecast right now, so that's good news. But once again, we could see that potential of thunderstorms sticking around through the holiday on Monday. Getting into very early Tuesday morning, right after the holiday's over with. Perfect timing. I would agree that all of this heads out into the Gulf and the Western Atlantic, and then drier, less hot air arrives, more comfortable conditions right into the portion of the rest of the last week of May. We're about 1 week away from the final day of May, 1 week away from today. So 1 week left in the month, and we'll be starting June 1st and hurricane season next Saturday. So we're getting close to that time of the year there. Now, this is where, excuse me, again, these allergy medicines are really doing a number on my throat. If you have outdoor plans for the weekend, here's what we're looking at. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Earlier tonight, we had a risk of severe weather, a marginal threat, the dark green, again, the key up here, out of a scale of 1 to 5, this is about a 1. So this is not a huge threat of severe weather. So all that activity back to the west, if that gets a little closer here tonight, we could see some rumbles of thunder. Northeast Alabama and the Plateau area and Middle Tennessee, that is where we may see some more problems there. But the worst case scenario, and again, that's for Friday night into early Saturday morning. This is a different forecast than what I saw just about 3-4 hours ago. The update came up from the Storm Prediction Center, which issues these maps about, give or take, about an hour ago, somewhere in there. So these forecast maps will change throughout the rest of the weekend. Day one for, again, right now, that one gets updated 3-4 times a day. Or more, depending on if there's special changes to the forecast on there. So we no longer have a threat of severe weather except for the extreme western part of the viewing area. DeKalb and Jackson counties in Alabama, you've got a potential, but again, you're on that eastern edge of that potential there. So for right now, the threat of severe weather is over with for tonight. Some storms, if they form, could again give us the potential of some elevated risk of severe weather, borderline severe pretty much. Now let's go into Saturday. This forecast that you're looking at, the data here was issued by the Storm Prediction Center close to 10 hours ago, give or take, so this is ancient in forecast terms. We do still see a marginal threat of severe weather. Again, that's the lowest of the low you can possibly get on here. We see better potential of that severe threat from roughly Tupelo down to just about North Florida. And again, that's a marginal threat, so there's not much going on. If you're traveling and you're heading west of the Mississippi River, I'm just going to scoot this over here for a second. This has nothing to do with us on Saturday, but looking at about a 4 out of 5 for areas. I got to call my mom and make certain she knows about this back in Topeka, Kansas, Wichita, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, into that area, back to the east of Dodge City. That is where we could be looking at a pretty good outbreak of severe weather. Again, that's Saturday. And this forecast is several hours old, so it's a good bet that we'll get an update on this coming up after midnight from the Storm Prediction Center. So this could be an area to watch. This is where we could be looking at some nasty conditions coming on through into that area. Now, going forward into Sunday, we see again the potential here going all the way on through back to the west of us. And then we see I knew that was going to happen. Excuse me just one second. There we go. All right, now we're down here. We're up to a slight risk, which again is about a 2 out of 5 on the scale. So we're getting higher on the potential of severe weather. The worst of it is going to be up into around Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, and just scraping close to the Nashville area, right along the Tennessee-Kentucky line. That is an enhanced risk, so the worst of the worst is going to be expected in this area. The problem we've got, and what I think we're looking at, again, after we saw those maps, is that whatever forms up and around this area here is going to be moving off to the east, and some of that trailing down this direction could make its way into our area, I think, late Sunday, early on Monday. That is going to be where we get into the potential of problems, and again, the threat will be going up as we go into Sunday evening. Now, again, this forecast that you see here also several hours old, so we'll know more about the forecast getting into tomorrow, and we'll give you more on that through our website and on air. But if it becomes necessary, we'll be on the air. If there's tornado warnings, things like that, we could be looking at that threat approaching into Sunday. That's not meant to hype or scare anybody. That's not what we do. That's not what I do as a professional meteorologist. That is something I have never done, is hype the weather. This is trying to give you information to make certain you're aware of things, and to also, again, pay attention to what's going on with the forecast. So just to make certain you are going to be safe, that's why we bring this information to you. And again, that's days 1, 2, and 3. So that gives you an idea for what's happening there. Day 4, the extended forecast from the Storm Prediction Center, days 4 through 8, that goes into next week. We're not seeing anything at this time for Monday. At least that's what it's showing again for right now. We should be seeing at least a yellow shade showing up here for a 15% possible chance, and that is just not showing up anywhere within the southeast United States. So for as of right now, in our area, nothing. Likewise, in surrounding areas, we're not getting a forecast of severe weather. Could that change? Yes. Will that change? No idea. It's impossible to say right now. The best thing we can do for right now is just pay attention to the forecast and let you know what's happening. This could change a lot of forecast plans out there as we go into the course of the next several days. And not just for tomorrow either, but if you're going to be doing anything, say, like fishing, boating, camping, anything like that, you're going to see, I don't think, a total washout. There will be scattered showers and thunderstorms, but I do think you're going to need to be weather aware. That is not just a catchphrase, hashtag that you see on social media. It really means keeping up to date with the forecast. If you don't have a weather radio and you're stocking up on supplies for your camping trip, take one along with you, learn to operate it. That is your direct line to the National Weather Service that issues the warnings. Learn which county you're going to be in. Learn what cities, what towns you're going to be around, whatever area you're fishing in. Learn how to program the weather radio that it can go off and alert you when something is going on. That is going to be one of the best things you can possibly do. Also, again, with situations like this, make certain that you are able to get to a place of safety as soon as possible. Again, I don't think the weekend is going to be ruined by these thunderstorms, but what I do think is if you are out having fun, you're going to put your life in danger even just by walking around on a golf course. If you see lightning off in the distance, if you can hear the rumble of thunder, you are within range of getting struck by lightning. And you may say, oh, well, the odds are very low that anything will happen. Okay, yeah, the odds of getting struck by lightning are far greater than you actually winning the multi-million-dollar lottery. But why risk it? You're going to have the golf course there. You'll have other opportunities to sink a hole-in-one at some point. When you see lightning, hear thunder, if you have a lightning detector and that thing goes off, letting you know that the signals of lightning have been picked up, that is something to say, okay, enough is enough. We're off the golf course. Because when you're standing out here, again, on a big, broad, flat surface, you're the tallest thing around. Don't trust that the trees are going to be the tallest thing. You're sitting there with metal spikes on your shoes, a metal rod in your hand, the flag on the golf course pole in the hole right there might be taller than you. It's not the best place to be. So lightning seen, thunder heard off the course. Stay there. Use what's called the 30-30 rule. Wait 30 minutes until the storm is 30 miles away. And that right there will really increase your safety. Lightning can strike 20 to 30 miles away from a parent thunderstorm. So you want to be in a safe place and let that storm move out of range, because after a while, then that lightning won't be likely to reach all the way back to where you are. And again, yes, the odds are low, but don't chance it. Get out of the path of the lightning. Keep an eye on the weather. Be weather aware all the way through the weekend. And again, let's be very careful and pay attention to what we're going to be looking for. Next several days, we'll see, again, temperatures moderate a little bit, not by much, but the Climate Prediction Center's medium range outlook holds the heat back to the west and gives us some possibility of some nicer conditions. You can see that on our 7-day forecast. Island Cove Marina and Resort, and again, all of our cameras available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. If you'd like to take a look at any of those at WDEF.com/weather. weather. We'd love to be able to see what we're seeing out there, so please drop by and take a look at what may be happening there. So for tonight and into the course of the next couple of days, we are going to be seeing again the potential for showers and thunderstorms. We're keeping the marginal risk category in the forecast for now, just to keep awareness, just so you see there is a potential. Even though it's just barely into Alabama and Georgia, there is still a possibility of that very close to us. So that is something that we really, really want to keep an eye on and make sure that everybody is paying attention to. That slight risk category, that's the forecast for right now, just past 10 o'clock Friday night. If you're watching this early Saturday morning, somewhere about midday Saturday, this again will change. These possibility of these thunderstorms becoming severe may be worse, may be better. The important thing is to go to the Storm Prediction Center and follow along. Now, we do not have any severe marker for Mondays. We just showed you on the day 4. There's nothing out there for Monday at this time, but we'll watch that. Showers and thunderstorms continue until that front slices through on early Tuesday. So Dawn Patrol Tuesday, we could see some thunderstorms, and then after that, some very nice weather coming through. The last week of May is going to be very nice, very dry, lots of sunshine, some copious amounts of dry air. Even temperatures might make their way back into the upper 50s by this time next week as we get toward Thursday night, Friday morning. That would be very pleasant. But again, this is the weather that would be ideal for the holiday weekend. Not going to be happening to where we clear things out. We're also seeing numbers pushing 90 degrees as we go into Saturday into Sunday, some upper 80s to lower 90s. And that also, again, not only don't forget the sunblock, don't forget the weather radio, the extra batteries for that. Don't want to forget the water bottle. Make certain you're taking along a spare tank of some water out there. Come in handy to make certain you don't get dehydrated. That can cause some pretty serious headaches. So again, best to stay hydrated as possible. Again, hot and humid for now, and then getting into the next few days after that, we kind of moderate, so looking a little bit better. But for the weekend, again, we got a lot of problems with this possibility of severe weather coming on through. Kind of a gray day today with all the clouds, so thank you very much, Barbara Davis from Chattanooga, for a lovely view along the Riverwalk. Nice view of some sculptures, trees, flowers, grasses out there. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Got pictures to send in? Please send them in to us, and we will get them out to everybody as soon as possible. Email them to us, drop them to our social media pages, or go to our website at wdef.com/photos. You can drop your pictures off and see what everybody else has been looking at for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Temperatures today, again, back in the mid-80s, very, very close to normal. 10 degrees away from a record high temperature last set back in 1953, and a record low that hasn't been broken since about 7 years before my grandfather was born. That's kind of neat. Nothing in the way of rain out there, and we're still behind for the year by about 1.21 inches, so we could use some more rain. We do not have a drought situation, that's for certain, but we do have a decent amount of smoke and pollutants stacking up, so it would be kind of nice to see a little bit more of that cleaning out our atmosphere at some point in time. All right, our friendinroofing.com weather/science poll of the day from the United Nations Environmental Program. The number of wildfires is slated to rise by how much percentage by the end of the century? And the reason, and as of right now, governments are not prepared for what is going to be happening according to the article on here. Wildfires are in some ways, thanks to the changing climate, driven by fossil fuels. We are seeing, again, the potential for more wildfires, heavier, more intense wildfires that burn over a longer period of time, go between seasons. The fires up in Canada right now were called sleeper fires. They burned all winter through the underbrush and were not touched by the cold temperatures, by the ice and snow, anything like that. So These fires are a lot different than what they were just about a few decades ago. And this is going to be one of the most important things out there, to take a look at why the climate is changing, how we as humans are changing it, and what we can do to get it more stable. Because in a more unstable world, it's going to be harder to predict severe weather. It's going to be harder to predict droughts, hurricanes, wildfires, things of that nature. So what exactly are we looking for according to the United Nations Environment Program? It's actually 99.9%. The choice was voted on by 58% of you, so over half voted for that. It's 50%. It's expected to go up at least by what we have now, increase it by half into 2100. And again, we need to get prepared for that and study more about what kind of damage we are doing to our planet and what that damage is doing to things like wildfires. If you'd like to vote in our polls, a new one goes up at midnight. It'll be there throughout the rest of the weekend. So if you'd like to know more, go to wdef.com/vote now, or use the QR code on your screen to vote. But again, thanks to everybody for stopping by and casting your ballot. Need to be able to get these weather and science questions out there. And again, thanks to friendinroofing.com for being our sponsor for this. If you'd like to be a sponsor for any of our current sites that don't have sponsors on here, any of the graphics that don't have sponsors, please contact our sales department. We would love to be able to keep an eye on that, and also invite you in if you would like to see more about what your business could do out there. We do have one area of interest. It's just outside the Caribbean and the Bahamas. From the National Hurricane Center in Miami, a 10% chance of this developing into something. So it is possible that we could see this moving out south of Bermuda, but we might see this develop into something, but it's only got a 1 in 10 shot. So right now, 1 week and a few hours ahead of hurricane season, nothing really going on. The only thing we've got is this particular one here, and then out into the eastern Pacific, we're not seeing anything in the way of development, and the waters along the coastline here are very warm. Remember, this is where Otis formed last year, and that was a major hurricane and only took about 9 hours to go from a tropical storm to a full-fledged hurricane out there. And here's the other problem we've got for right now, is that the water temperatures of that area of the world that develops the hurricanes, again, mainly around here, the very, very warm waters right off of Hispaniola through Cuba, the Straits of Cuba, the Gulf Loop, right around this area. If anything forms around here, it is going to use this as jet fuel. This is very good conditions for developing hurricanes very quickly. It uses that heat out of the waters, which never really cooled off over the wintertime, and now it is. These are temperatures that the ocean surface numbers should be in mid-August, and we're not even in hurricane season yet. That is the most worrisome part of this. So for right now, we've got temperatures in the mid-80s. This could be a very ugly situation sometime soon, somewhere in the next couple of weeks, next few months at least. If you're traveling anywhere around the Caribbean, yes, there's cruises and all sorts of resorts and things along the Gulf and the East Coast you can go to, all kinds of stuff like that. But now is the time, before you even set foot on that vacation, to watch what is going on, because any place here from Boston, Bangor, all the way down to Miami and the Keys, all the way over into the Gulf, the Caribbean, and all the way out into the Atlantic, this is where we could see the next storm form at just about any time. Hurricane season is a week away, and we have not had anything yet, and I'm very surprised we haven't, with all of this very warm water ready to go. The energy is there, the fuel is there. All we need is the match to be struck, and we're going to be off on what could be the worst season that we have ever seen with hurricanes, if the forecasts are true. If you'd like to know more about that, head to our websites and social media, and we'd be glad to talk more about that particular thing. I don't have the forecast ready for tomorrow. It looks like the Chattanooga Lookouts game is over with for tonight. So looks like they didn't do too well either. Rick Nyman will have more on that on sports coming up in just a little bit. There will be a game tomorrow night. It will be Military Appreciation Night at AT&T Field. So thanks to all out there who served. And again, if you are out and about, please shake the hand of any veteran that you see wearing, or current service member wearing, the uniform of our country. But that'll be at 7:15 tomorrow. The matinee on Sunday afternoon at 2:15. Again, that could see the possibility. There's a food drive scheduled, more at MILB.com, Minor League Baseball. So hopefully those games go off without a hitch. But I would watch, please, very carefully, I would watch what's going on with the weather into this weekend. So please pay attention to that. Weather aware is going to be the watch phrase, the hashtag of the weekend, as we look for the possibility of more problems coming our way. This forecast that I'm doing now, this is recording, will go up at WDEF.com. If you're watching this Friday night, the 24th forecast, Saturday at some point in time, check up on the weather. Your local National Weather Service office, the Storm Prediction Center. Stay tuned to News 12. We'll keep you updated as we go throughout the rest of the weekend. But once again, we are seeing some possibility of some stronger weather. Saturday looks a little bit better, but then on Sunday that threat returns and increases, and that forecast information from the National Weather Service is going to fluctuate throughout the entire weekend. So that is something that is really going to have to be monitored very carefully, so please do that. Questions, concerns, ideas about anything, complaints, if you absolutely must, Onek at WDEF.com. Our website again, WDEF.com/weather. I'll have updates on severe weather on Sunday night should it become available. Meteorologist Todd Heislip will be up with your forecast Saturday and Sunday nights at 11 o'clock, so please join him for the details there. And again, please get your weather radio functioning. If you don't have one, go get one. It's only about $30-$40 for a basic model, maybe a little bit more with the batteries, but it could save your life. And again, it's a great tool to have around just in case. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This has been Weather Overtime for Friday, May 24th. We'll send you into the weekend with some fairly quiet conditions for now. But again, please use caution, common sense, and pay attention to what's going on with the weather through the weekend. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online. We hope you have a happy and safe weekend, and we'll see you again coming up next week.